All right, it's 3 o'clock. I think we're ready to begin this week's game event. Isabella and Tor, are you reading me clearly?
We are loud and clear.
Loud
Perfect.
and clear.
Great. It's always a little bit interesting when you are working with new tech if it's going to work as you do, as you wish it to be, but we're going through today, so that's great. So, my name is Ida, and I have been working for Acti actually for 3 or 4 years, but I had a break for the past year, so now I'm back and I'm really excited. I've been missing the Acti office immensely, so great to be able to be back in this way and to run the events.
Amazing to have
Uh,
you back, Ida.
I'm glad. I was a little bit worried I was disturbing the office a little too much, but you must just tell me.
Never,
So,
never.
so that actually is perfect because we are going to be going through a game today, which is about Lencioni's five dysfunctions of a team. And since I feel like Acti team is the best team, I feel like it's amazing that we get to run through this as the first. And just actually a quick intro of my colleagues here that are going to play with you guys. We have Tor, who's actually the newest activist here at the office, apart from myself, if you will. I don't know, Tor, how are you actually feeling about the teamwork at Acti as the newest set of eyes?
Great question. It's now I have to say we are great at it, but I actually do think that we're doing great. We are walking the talk, and of course it helps by talk about the games, talk about the agenda of team play. So I think we are. I found my new colleagues quite nice, and I'm not saying that only because Isabella is sitting right behind me, but I actually do. Thank you.
That's really good to hear. So Tua is actually overtaking the Nordic markets. And then I have our other guest here, Isabella, who is the head of the global markets and also a partner at Acti. How do you find the Acti teamwork as an old activist, Isabella?
An old, an old activist. No, I think I agree with Tor, and I'm happy that Tor he thinks it's a great team after being here for 2 or 3 months. Yes, we succeeded. So that's nice. No, I think we are walking the talk, but I also do think that we can always learn something new. We can always improve and understand different perspectives of working as a team. And so I think this is fun and it's going to be great.
Thank you, Isabella. And for that, you get a great answer. So you guys are going to be playing with me today, and just worth a quick mention is that Mohammed is sat at the back end of the event today, doing all of the help. So thank you, Mohammed, for saving us. It's definitely going to be needed at some point today, I think. But let's actually get going. So we have a little bit of an agenda today. I don't know how many of you guys know Acti. Maybe a lot of you really know it well and everything, and more than me. But just in case there are a few out there who don't know what Acti is, we're going to do a quick intro to that. Then we're going to play the Lencioni game with the five dysfunctions of a team, and we're also going to look a little bit at the facilitation of how we do it. Meanwhile, so there's going to be a little bit of an overlap. So while you get some time to actually go through the game, read it, make your decisions, put a little bit of time and energy in that, we will continue here on screen, going through a little bit about how you actually play the game and then also how you can facilitate it. And then when everybody's done playing, we will look at the host view where you guys will be able to get your individual results, and you'll also be able to find like a team result based on everybody who's played this game. And then if there's time, we'll have a little bit of a Q&A where you guys we'll open up for a little bit more of a discussion. All right. So what is Acti? Acti is a game-based learning organization for soft skill development. We make, or actually we have the platform where you can make serious games for your training scenarios. It can be L&D, it can be H&R. Actually, sky is a little bit the limit here. Only your imagination is setting the boundaries to what you can actually make a serious game about. But of course, we are focusing a little bit more on organizational development. And actually, we already have over 150 games and simulations spreading across so many areas. It's used to be a lot about change management, leadership, and communication, but a lot can happen in 20 years. So we've sort of branched out to D&I. We talk about inclusion. We talk about sustainability, ESG. So as I said, a little bit imagination's the limit here. And likewise as well with the theories and models, it's sort of super easy plug and play, where you can just add in the theories that you wish to use or search in the games for theories that you want to use. You can find the games that already have those theories. Um, and we have over 2,500 certified activists worldwide already using the platform and the games, either using the games that we already have on there or actually creating their own games for their very specific needs. So that's super cool. Yes. And here's just a little bit of an overview of our clients. So actually, we are not industry specific at all, but we can say that there is like two sections that we focus on. So we, of course, are working very closely with our consulting partners who are using the Acti tools as part of their toolkit. And then we are also collaborating with larger enterprises who find us useful in their huge organizations to work with. So we can both work with a little bit more closely with the end user, but also very close partnership with our consultants. And we're very proud of the way that they're using our tools. Yeah. And as I said, like the sky is the limit a little bit with these games, but considering all of these pains that have been listed here, I'm not going to go into all of them, but it kind of gives a very nice idea that we have already tread upon a lot of different areas that are nice, as well as need to have areas to focus on in your organization. But again, there are so many possibilities, like merges, hybrid working, teamwork, sales, ESG, onboarding. Actually, Tor, did you use a onboarding game from Acti when you started here?
I actually did. I used the quiz, so it was within the onboarding topic. So a little bit, a cheat, yes.
All right. Did you like it?
I think it was a great way to start. I was recommended to create a quiz about me to my new colleagues, also to get familiar with the platform. So I made a quiz about me, and I think it was very challenging and a good way to get into the game, but also for the colleagues to know me. So yeah, I really do think so.
Nice. I'm happy that you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right. So there are, you can say there are many different ways of learning, but the way that Acti pitches our learnings or the learnings to do is either to use it in an online or in a physical regime. And that's not to say that you can't sit physically together and work online. But if we separate them for a moment, we of course started out with the physical floorboard, which is, you can see a little bit behind me here. You have like half of a floorboard, where you actually walk around and move the little boats, the little stakeholders, and you get a very immersive experience in walking around this board. Like you really feel like you're working together in a team for this project, which is really nice. And then, of course, we have scaled it into being a digital tool so that you can also use it online and you don't even have to sit together to do it. So this was great in Corona because, of course, nobody could meet up and work together around the physical floorboard. But it's also been proven by our users to be great combining these two things. So like doing some of it together up physical, getting real discussions going, but also actually having the online element where you can immerse yourself, close off your distractions, and actually go into the game and really focus on the learnings that are present. Isabella, you are actually having quite a few clients who are working in like these various ways of online, physical, online. How
Hmm.
could you just quickly touch upon how you think that works?
Yeah, I'd say I think probably 9 out of 10 of our consultant clients are utilizing the physical floorboard together with the online version. So, for instance, in the lower right corner, the picture there, they sat actually 50 people and they were split out in groups of 5. And then in between the chapters, playing fully online in groups of five, the consultant asked them to step up to the floorboard in between the chapters to try to talk a little bit about which strategy did they have in the group, how to approach the game as a team, some comparison to the real life situation. So the floorboard actually becomes a learning space that brings out discussions. And so, if teams wish or companies wish to have it in the room, that's a great opportunity. But you can actually do the same with the host you. So, there are also a lot of our clients that are actually just using the host you as the physical floorboard, having the same type of discussions. So we're trying to open up for both things, which is really fun. Hmm?
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing, Isabella. All right, so let's go a little bit into the game that we are all here to see. So the game is the 5 Lencioni behaviors, or like, of course, based on the model, the 5 dysfunctions of a team. And in this game, you are a project planner of this newly formed task force, and you are actually having quite a bit of competition in your industry. So you have this new product where you would like to create something that gives you a competitive edge. And you've been when chosen to be the project manager of this project, and therefore have to sort of coordinate the whole project, and of course the teamwork and everything that is in that. There are a few objectives that I think would be great to focus on whilst you guys are playing the game. So, enhance collaboration by addressing team challenges together. So, of course, like if you know the theory, the 5 dysfunctions of a team, you probably know that these are the objectives that you would want to keep an extra sharp eye on. Um, but also improve decision making through open discussions and handling team issues. Strengthen alignment by ensuring actions reflect company objectives and values. Boost team performance with effective communication and accountability. Increase adaptability by tackling unexpected challenges through teamwork and collective problem solving while playing. So if you joined this event and was like, okay, teamwork, no problem, like you just make sure they talk to each other in a professional tone, right? It's a little bit more complicated than that, because it's not just like running around in a kindergarten and you find another person and you're like, hey, we like doing the same thing, let's be friends, and then everything is just green fields and butterflies. There are quite a few layers to take into account when you are dealing with teamwork in like an actual setting. So just making people like each other is not really enough. You have to be able to make them trust each other. You have to be able to create this accountability in a team. You have to really make them feel like they have each other's backs, not just on a personal or on a soft skill note, but also in the hard skill area. You have to make sure that they trust you, your whole team trusts what you're doing, and vice versa. So it's a few things to keep an extra eye on when you're playing the game. So a lot of people are talking or asking to us, actually not me, they are calling you guys, Isabella and Tor, about, well, we have this meeting, what game should we use? Or can I use this game for this setting or for this group of people, or so on? And the thing is about this game is that there are not really any barriers of where you can use it, because everybody works in a team. If you're a leadership group, you're of course working in a team and you're with your leadership group, and if you're just on the floor, you're of course also working in a team on the floor, and as a whole company, you would say, is a team in itself that also has to be able to communicate and flow nicely. So there are not really any stoppers here as to where you can use this game. I would probably say that it's relevant no matter where you are to learn how to collaborate in a team. Any thoughts on that, Isabella and Tor? Do you think that it's better suited for certain groups?
Not at all. I think you're totally right, Ida. And it's also how it's been used by some of our clients. We've had both university students where the professors wanted to teach the different students on how to work together in a team as part of a program, and we've had executive VPs play the game. So it's from everywhere, which is why this game is actually really great.
Thank you for sharing that. So you heard it from Isabella straight. Everybody can play this game. So, as I mentioned, the game is based on the theory layer of the 5 dysfunctions of a team. And you see the gray triangle is actually the theory about how you should accomplish great teamwork. And if you start like any pyramid, you sort of have to start at the bottom right to climb up to the next layer. So step one is creating trust and creating a room for vulnerability, and then you move up to like making an environment where it's okay to be in a disagreement with each other, and so on. You move up the ladder. And you can see the orange rectangle next to it is sort of the counteract you can use to when the issues in the gray triangle are addressed. So when there's an absence of trust, for example, the answer is, or the counteract is, to go first. You know, show yourself trusting your team, be the leader in that way. So when you're playing the game in just a minute, it's not going to be too long now. Try to keep this pyramid a little bit on top of mind as you go through the game. I can also say that if um, you are the one facilitating, you can always find a facilitation guide to follow throughout, and get a little bit of insights into the game chapters and the theories relevant in each chapter. But of course, you guys are going to be playing it, so you're not going to get access to that. All right. Ooh. Okay, so just quickly, you guys as a player must recognize dysfunctions from the chapter introductions, and then you must choose an option to counteract them. So you could say you first have to identify where in the gray triangle are you, and then figure out, okay, where in the orange counteract system do I go in? You guys are going to be playing in battle mode, which is a single player way of playing, but you will be competing with everybody else who are entering this session and playing this game. You can, of course, also play it just on your own, no competition element, or you can play as a team. But today, for you guys, we were going to be entering battle mode. Quickly, to give you an idea about how the board is. This is the cycle of change. It's our oldest and the most used design or board. Basically, it works like you have to go from 12 o'clock in the in the circle in the pizza, and then you have to move the 24 areas around clockwise. The little blue arrow is the boat. That is your change. That is your mission. That is what you want to complete. So the blue boat will move as you are getting closer to the goal. Oh, actually, there you go, the boat. And then you see all of these little dots. These are your stakeholders, your team, and you're seeing how they are going to react to what you're doing. So if they are inside the boat, you can't see them as a little dot. That means they are just loving what you're doing, loving the initiative, on board, could not be more than supportive. However, there are also these resistance levels that are based on Rick Mauer's resistance theory. And there are 3 levels. So the first level is I don't get it, which is sort of like I don't understand the change or why we're doing this kind of resistance level. So it's a little bit easy to kind of explain to someone we're doing it of this reason, and then, oh, okay, I'm in the boat. If you're in the resistance level 2, I don't like it. That's a little bit more tricky to kind of argument with. It's often that the stakeholders don't agree with the change or don't understand how it's a benefit to do this change or this initiative or this action or to this goal of whichever it is that you are working towards. And then there's the third and last resistance level, which is I don't trust you. It's a little bit more personal or sorry, I don't like you. It's a little bit more personal. It's a strongest of the resistance levels. And that's often because there's like a mistrust of the leader of the change or the leader of the project. So that's even more difficult to sort of work with. So that's for you guys to kind of figure out how you navigate with stakeholders who, of course, always want different things. But you will see as you enter the game. It's a good idea to quickly look at your stakeholders, see who they are, what kind of reactions they have. If they get really into the "I don't trust you" stage, you just click on them when they flash. You kind of can't do anything but. And the story, as I talked about, was this new company who have a new project to sort of do in the next 12 months. They are in a pretty competitive market, so speed is a bit of an issue. They would really like it to get out there. And the team you're working with is not normally working together. Actually, they don't normally collaborate with anyone, which is your task to then figure out how does that work. And when we're done playing, you will see this as well, and we will go into further detail, but you will get a data profile, you'll get an overview of where you are in the theory, which elements did you focus on the most. But I think I've been talking for way too long now, and I think we should just get you guys to play the game. So I will ask Mohammed, please, to send the link in the chat. And what you do is you either click the link straight away, or you can go to the Acti homepage and you can click the login, enter the game, the session ID, game event Lencioni, and then you just enter a guest name. You don't need to register anything. You won't be spammed by emails. You just enter a name so that you can see who you are. All right. It's going to give you a few minutes to do that. Just going to check with the Mohammed if the link has been sent. Super. How about you, Isabella and Tor? Are you playing? Are you in?
We will play. I will just.
I am in the game now. Yes.
Perfect. I'm going to switch my screen to the host view then. Here we go.
I will also log in now.
All right. So I'm just, for those of you who are not playing and just watching, I'm just going to unselect a few people so that we can see you guys' live results as you move on. And if the sound gets too confusing for you players out there, just turn it off while you play the game. That's totally fine. The event recording will be under the LinkedIn event, so you can just find it anytime if you think that there is anything important that you missed. Okay, but back to the game. So they have the first question, which is sort of like an initial move. How do we move on, or how do we start to create this teamwork? Have you guys made it through the first chapter already, or are you still working on it?
Still working on it.
Okay. But as I said, the sort of the initial issue of this chapter is that you have a team, and none of them are really used to working in a team, and none of them are used to collaborating with each other. They don't really have a relationship to each other. They don't know each other, and most of them have probably never even spoken before. So it's not like there's already just a great culture and everybody's friendly, because they don't know each other. And that's, of course, a little bit difficult, because as you remember in the Lencioni model, the triangle, the first layer that you kind of have to complete in order to move up to the next one is trust. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like trust is something you kind of have to earn. It's not something you just give like that because
Mhm.
someone above you tells you you have to. No. So your initial quest in this chapter is, of course, how do we start getting this team to trust each other?
I have made my first decision.
Yeah?
Mm.
Would you like to share?
Yes, I was a little bit in doubt about if I should choose number 3 or number 5. But I went. Let me just see here. I went with number 3, if I remember correctly. Yeah, a clear path.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I did that because I want, like, maybe a little bit to what you said actually. Just wanted to ensure that everyone knows why we're here and what everyone are doing. So there were no misconception of anything, but now we have to work together as a team and build that trust in between each other. Is only built if everyone are clear in communication. Um, yeah, but I was actually in doubt if I should go with number 5. I can't remember what number 5 was right now,
Number
but
5, goals first. This action helps the team acquire some. Oh, sorry, that's the result. So this is the. I'm looking at the facilitation guide, which actually has this really nice overview of the chapters and how each choice moves what and the results of the theory.
mm,
Um, so just to you guys out there who don't know ACTI and are a little bit like, how do you even facilitate something this complex or a game and with theories? There's actually a really, really easy how to tool that has been created for most of the games. So fear not if you have not tried using ACTI yet. How about you, Tor?
Yeah, first of all, great for sharing the facilitation guide. I think it's on point that anybody can use this tool. And I were thinking about the stakeholders where there were in regards to the resistance levels, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody were not like in doubt of the trust. So I'm making a number 4. Explain to me why the team needs me, just because it could be fun to get some feedback from the group. And I got a score of plus 13, so that's not too bad, right?
Plus 13. What did you get actually, Isabella, for your answer?
I got 13 as well.
Okay, so that is a equally good way of doing things.
Mm.
And for those of you following my screen, you can see the focus view here of chapter 1. I've just selected Isabella and Tor. And you can see Isabella is all of the yellow dots and Tor are the black dots. So Isabella, you have a person out in the I don't trust you
Hmm.
section.
I do, yes. And that's of course not good. But I also have a person very much in front, right? So I think my focus was just to move ahead and then we'll pick up the ones a little bit behind at a later stage.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like a strategy of doing that, knowing the theory, or are you just winging it?
Mm, not really, not yet. I think my decision was to just get the first chapter started and maybe start out with my initial sense or feeling of how I wanted to approach it, and then from there on, maybe build on my strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But Ida, I actually see that Antoine, he's also playing, and he got 15. So
All right.
yeah, that's really cool.
Let me just try to select all of these other cool players.
And the rest of you is also welcome to write what you got with choice number 1, and of course ask questions as we go, please.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that, Tor. Oh, I can see that Antoine got 15 with choice 1. Okay, so that's beating you guys.
Yep.
All right.
But I think it's also very much, I mean, you can play this game as a team in a team challenge as well. And right now we are very much Tor and I and all of you guys are very much sitting with this game on our own. But I think it also opens up for scenarios if we're playing it as a group and we can discuss, okay, Tor, do you think we should take this choice at this point or should we wait with a clear path? Where else you would be sitting with your own thoughts quite a lot. So it also depends on the setting that you want to play this game in.
So would you suggest, Isabella, that this game would actually be better to be played together, like physically if you're together, not necessarily the floorboard, but the team being physically together in a room so that they could discuss their answers?
I don't think it's necessarily better, but I think it's a good way of playing it in what we call the team challenge mode, because then you would be able to listen from different perspectives and maybe enlighten the way you've been thinking it, and ask questions to your team members. I know that a lot of our clients are doing it that way, playing it as a team challenge. And the effects of that is also that you actually get your own personal profile, but you also get the discussions and the dialogues from working in the team. So it's a win-win using the team challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I actually think that it's also about the amount of people that is actually playing. So if you are a board consists of 5 people, then battle mode I think is the way to go forward with it, because you are playing as a group but with individual scores, and then you talk about how would you go on from here. My stakeholders is here, or divided in 2 halves. So I actually think that it depends also on the number of how many people you are, of course. But again, then you are playing in team challenge, just a fewer people. So you don't necessarily need to be 50 or 100. You can play it only if you're 5 or 10, of course.
Hmm. I'm actually a little bit curious. I have a question for you guys. So when you're playing battle mode, of course, you have like this very strong competition element because you get to track your own scores and you also get to track everybody else's scores, right? But how about when you play the team challenge? Like, do you believe that the team element is sort of equally strong when you play that, or like what is your do you understand my question? Like, do you get the same excitement from playing in the team because you just want your team to be the best, or is it more mellow, more like it's actually just a really nice thing to talk about?
I think when you're playing in a team, and of course, just so it's clear that you can play in teams in battle mode. So your team has one score, and if you play in team challenge, you are you have to make your own decisions and then talk about. Sorry, I have some echoes, so that's why I sound a bit weird. On to you, Isabella.
I just tried to mute Ida as well. I have a little bit of an echo too, but that's fine. I agree with you, Tor, but I think what I've experienced with a few clients where I could joined in as support, where what happens was that they really were very competitive in team against team.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to finalize the game when the facilitator brought them into the like large room. They were laughing at each other and pointing fingers at each other, and it became very competitive.
Mm.
And in some settings, that's super great. But I've also had some consultants coming to me and said, we played with engineers and they did not want to compete. They were like, I want to remove the points, or I don't want it to be the focus of the competition. We wanted to focus on the learning from the frameworks or the methodologies or the theories behind the game. So it depends on how it's also facilitated and brought into the room, if you want them to compete or not.
Yeah, that's actually a very valuable takeaway or insight to just remember that the people who are playing the game are of course equally important as the game that you choose to play and how you choose to play it. It has to be a match. Putting a lot of not competitive people together and asking them to compete is often going to give you the opposite result. It's a
Sure, yeah.
very good point.
And Ida Antoine, he actually wrote a little comment. He said, I think sometimes when you're playing in a team challenge, some decisions are soft because because the teams is seeking a compromise. So it is interesting if you meta talk about the way the team is working together.
That's a really good point. Then you get like a whole other layer of your perspective, like up in the helicopter view.
Yeah,
Have you
that's
go ahead,
no,
Isabella,
yeah,
sorry.
I think that's super interesting. And I like the way you call it meta talk because that is
Mm-hmm.
what is happening. You need to bring it into a different perspective of the discussion and how they strategize and how they explain in the different groups and teams, which can be challenging for the facilitator, I think, but also think that's where all the good positive discussions go happens. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as you know from our 5 dysfunctions of a team that I'm sure everybody here is now an expert on, is that of course there has to be room for these deep talks and meta talks in a team for it to be functional. So it's a really, really great point to get that in there. Thank you for sharing with us. All right, I'm just quickly gonna update the host view here, see how you guys are doing. Whoa. All right.
So I think I have 2 users in there actually. Either I'll just continue with the one only with not my last name, but only my first name.
So this one. Sure. Just quickly going to deselect a few people that are not here. Uh-huh. All right. All right. I see your comment, Antoine, but I actually do see you in the game now. I didn't see you last time I updated, but you're here now. So no worries. So we can actually just take you here. So if we make you yellow, right, and then we go. So you're in chapter 2 at the moment. There are quite a few people who are still playing. Here, yeah. Just gonna give them a few more minutes to finish. Have you moved on to the next chapter, Isabella and Tua? Or how are you feeling?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, we are. We are ready to number 2. How would you
Number
handle the
2.
problem with Eric and Carl?
Okay, and the deal with Eric and Carl is that they've had like a conflict of some sort, right? And have had like a meeting, just the two of them, and then have come out of this meeting room and just been super angry at each other. And now you're sort of in charge. How do you do, like, you don't even know what's gone wrong? So how do you fix this? How would you fix this, Isabella?
I'm a feeler.
A
So
feeler?
so I went about it with on choice number or option number 3. Like, how does it make you feel?
Mhm.
And I was a little bit in doubt if it actually was a good choice, but I was like, this is me. I rather want, like, are you okay? How does it make you feel? Is it annoying? And I don't know if it's then a lack of conflict. Like, I'm not very good at conflict. Maybe it could be. But then I thought this is the way we can maybe solve that. And now I see that the result is then initially the action leads to an awkward situation where Carl apologetically argues his case, but slowly it turns out that several of the colleagues have experienced a feeling of not being included. So feeling was not maybe the best in this instance, but
How many points did you get?
I think I got 19.
19. All right, that's a pretty good
Yep,
amount of points.
not too shabby.
I think that deserves a little oh, I don't know if that came through. It was supposed to be a jingle. How about you, Toa? What did you do for chapter 2?
Yeah, I guess I will try to be a bit more present. And so I will go with number 4. We need rules for this. So I will try quite unfiltered to talk about what just happened and trying to make sure that it won't happen again because it is people from different apartments with their perspectives. So I'm going to choose that now, and that will give me 12 points.
Ooh, Tor. Ooh.
There it worked. I mean, it's not the worst choice you could take, I'm sure, but it wasn't as great as Isabella's.
Yeah, so you say, so you say.
But I think it's I think people have had time to play their games now, and for those of you still playing, just continue doing your thing. But I think I would like to move on a little bit to the data profile that you each get after finishing a game from Acti. And I'm gonna do a quick. Here's one that I made earlier. Little cutout. So once you finish playing the game, you will actually get to this page where you get your data profile. And you can just quickly create an account, and you'll get this really nice overview of your data. You don't have to do all kinds of weird things to get it. You just have to create an account or register. And then you down here can kind of see how you ranked. I can see here my player Skipper actually got 110 points, which is the top score so far. So that's 100% correct, or at least 100% the current skill level ranking. But if I change it to an all-time ranking, that means that I'm comparing my data with everybody who's ever played this game. And suddenly I'm not looking so much on top anymore. But that's fine. Room for improvement. Always great to leave something to come back to. Um, but I have a few options here. I can play again, actually improve or see if I can improve my own score. I can go into the game history, and I can actually see sort of action from action what happened. And I have all of these, like the option that I chose, and also the result text about what were the positive things that happened and what were the negative things that happened when I made this decision. Just gonna see if I can hide that. You go back to the game board here. Yeah, and here you can see, of course, everybody who was in the game or in the session with us, how they are scoring, but I don't think they're quite accurate yet, as there are a few still making their final choices and, of course, changing their points. And again, this is the session ranking. I can also change to the all-time ranking, and we will get a lot more results here of how people did. Then you get a little overview here of what skills you are actually working on when you are playing the game. Just a nice overview for you if you were a little bit unsure of what takeaways you should think about. And down here, you then see the 5 dysfunctions of a team theory layer, the model. So you can see how I have actually, in this profile, managed to make decisions in every category of the dysfunctions theory. They are, of course, not quite even, but they are all there. So if I click compare, I will see, I think this is someone else's, or is this everybody else's combined theory,
It's
Isabella?
correct, the last part. So everyone else who've played the same game as you, so it's that you
It's
compare
the
yourself to.
average.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right, very cool. So yeah, I mean, not quite there, but also not totally off.
And
All
that's
right, and
another
then
fun thing, actually, Ida. I just want to comment. It's not about
mhm,
what is right and wrong, and that's the same in regards to how to choose to facilitate this. There's no right and wrong. It's depends on the decisions that you have made in the game, that then gives you this profile that you can continue to work on or work with in the different teams or individuals that you are playing with.
mhm.
Um, so that's where this data profile actually becomes very relevant.
That's a really good point, Isabella. Thank you for sharing it. It actually reminds me of something Live, our CEO, used to say a lot, which is there's a winner and there's a learner. It's not like there's a winner and you're a loser, because I mean, winning's always great. I speaking for myself, I love winning. It's the best. But every time I don't win, chances are that I'm learning quite a lot, because I don't want to be in that situation again. So
Mm.
it's exactly correct. Thank you that this is not a bad thing. This is a jumping off board, something to
Mm.
learn from. And like I showed you in my PowerPoint earlier, this is then where you can see how you are how much you are focusing in each of the layers of the pyramid, and the sort of positive and negative outputs or takeaways there are in that. So you can see I've actually used 12.5% focus on the first two layers and then actually used 25% on the three others. Now, I'm no expert in Lencioni, but maybe that should have been the other way around. But I'm sure at some point we will know. All right. So this is the my private data profile that I get to after playing the game. However, if I just jump back into our host view, just gonna double check if you guys have all finished. So there's still someone working just on chapter 5, but everybody else seems to have completed the game. So great. All right. Just gonna move on then a little bit to open the floor a little bit more to a dialogue about the game. Also inviting everybody who's watching. If you have any questions that we would like to talk about or discuss, just write them in the chat and we will try to get to you. All right. So I'm actually a little bit curious. Like as I said, this game can sort of be used everywhere by everyone. Um, how is this being used in the real world? Like how are people actually playing this game? Do you have an example, Isabella?
Yeah, I believe the university example from earlier, I think is a great example, and I tend to use that again and again because I like. So basically, when we were in dialogue with them, I think it was last year, they asked how can we teach our students to collaborate and be okay with understanding that you work in different ways, and how can we do it in an engaging and more innovative way? And we suggested this game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so they are actually using it as a way of learning how to work together as teams, and also being working in different teams on different projects, bringing that into when they once get a job in the real world. So that's one way it's being used, and I think they played, if I remember correctly, online, but then with one of our small coaching boards. So
Mm-hmm.
each group had their own little board where they could visualize their strategy and where the different people were on the board, which was also a fun experience, and a way of doing facilitating it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds like a really cool way of working with like teams as a
Mm.
student. Nice. I wish we had that when I was studying.
Yeah, me too.
Right. But so like if I'm gonna move on to you, Tor, because we've heard enough from you, Isabella, for now.
Fair.
Um, how would like if this was I mean, I know you are not the consultant who goes out and do all these things, but like what is your intel on when this game is actually being facilitated? Um, how does it normally work? Like what is actually the role of the facilitator?
Yeah. Can you hear me quite well, Ida?
I
All
hear
right.
you clear.
Very good. And I actually think that you can control the narrative of the output of the game. So it actually depends. This game can varies from a 15-minute game where each player play on their own or in groups, but it can also take as far as you want to, like 3 or 4 hours. So I think there's a lot of room for discussions, reflections. So it actually depends on. I have helped a lot of organizations with. They just need a quick game for a Kickstarter to talk about communication or team dynamics. Or
Mm-hmm.
how do I do with a new kind of team and I'm a new manager? I have no clue. I just got promoted. Then this is a great Kickstarter for just start a conversation starter, of course. And then I think you can actually go quite deep of Like for example, Isabella got 14 points. I got 13, somewhere like that. And
Hmm.
I could feel that I wanted to clarify why did she get 14 points? Because I really do think I made the right answer. So, and where did that came from? Did it came from previous teams where it had worked out, and why? And would that work with my new group or in this group? I mean, so as a facilitator, you can actually control the output in the end if you want to do so. Or otherwise, I just think the game is quite unique for just starting conversations that can go all different ways.
Hmm. So it's actually a really good just jumping off board for any conversation, like whatever the game is about. It's a great way to start a conversation. It's like even without the data that you receive in the end, the conversation is really, really giving. That's really
Yeah.
good. And then,
And there's
like, what are, sorry, Isabella, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Ida, go for it.
I actually wanted to ask you then because now Tor just said like you don't even need the data. You can just talk about the chapters. That's fine. Like, do you have any insights for us, Isabella, about how people use the data or the data profiles in the data module after they finish playing?
Yeah, so there's actually two types of data in there. Now we were looking at the individual data profile, but the host drew, we also have a data profile for the facilitators. So the facilitators usually use it as part of their workshop or their training, uh, benchmarking or using it as a way of reinforcing some of the learning. There's also some that are using it for assessments or adding it in at a later stage. So some are actually creating like learning journeys where they're adding in the same game over 2 or 3 times in a period of, let's say, 3 months. They
Hmm.
can use the data profile both in the host room and in the individual as a way of benchmarking the learning or the output or the outcome.
Because you can
Or
actually track your development, your competence development.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And then some are also adding in their own frameworks. So if they are not only wanting to work with Patrick Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions of a team, but they might also be working with, I don't know, something disc for a personal
Hmm.
profile, they would add in disc as well. So there's several elements to utilizing the data profile, both as a consultant but also as a enterprise client. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I actually have run out of time almost, so I'm going to round off. But Isabella or Tor, do you have any last comments you would like to add, or have you maxed out what you needed to say?
We've maybe just a few seconds because I just think that Antoine recapped it quite well. If you play in teams this game, you will your data you will see how you compromised as a team, or if you play individual, you can actually see what competences there are within this team. So I just want to acknowledge Antoine's recap. So I'm just using Antoine's answer.
But it's a really good answer. I understand why you would want to take credit for it.
I'm not trying to, Antoine. I'm just acknowledging. Well spotted.
No, we heard the reference. You're good, Tor. But it's true. It's a really, really good takeaway, and I think we should make a focus on that at some point about the differences between these two ways of playing in a team. But unfortunately, we do not have time for that because we are 40 seconds till we're closing. So I just quickly want to make sure that you all know that we are, of course, doing these events every week. And next week we are doing it with a corporate D&I game. So if you haven't already found out that that's happening, then go into our LinkedIn and you can click the link for signing up for the next event. Yeah,
Yes.
and without actually we
Further
have
ado.
almost 5 minutes left, but I think we've said what we needed to say.
Yes.
Um, without further ado, it's been great to be here. Great to be back in the Acti bubble. Love
Yeah, great to have
the
you back, Ida.
love the interactions that we're getting on the chat. Thank you for sharing that, whoever one of you it was. Great.
Thank you, Ida.
No,
Yeah,
thank you.
you
And sorry, Tor.
well done.
Well
Very
done.
good. Great. Well, then, you guys, I wish to see you guys next Tuesday at 3 for a little bit more talk about gamification tools. And other than that, I just hope you have a wonderful day and that the sun is shining where you are because it is not here.
Bye,
Great.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye
everybody.
bye.